It's always good to be at the right place at the right time. Celebrate all the goals with us as Jenny takes it to the hoop. Elijah hitting the three from downtown. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. We've got some nice, some good highlights to show everybody. We've got some disappointments, but we've got some nice ones as well.
We do, and we kind of start and end the show with a couple of the best stories that are going right now.
Okay.
A lot of excitement around boys hockey and boys basketball.
Yep.
Both getting some things done right now that haven't been done in a long, long time. Within those two programs. So kind of exciting to way to both start and kind of finish the show.
Yeah, we'll start with boys hockey, obviously, and I talked to Coach Frack about it's really nice to see the fact that at that time they had 6 wins and you know, this program going in the right direction, hopefully.
They still have 6 wins.
Yep.
Actually, and it's very exciting, especially when you consider how young the boys hockey team is. A lot of sophomores, a big part of what's happening for them. The Cardinals opened last week looking for a bounce back game and to get back to 500 on the season. It's started on the road with a trip to South St. Paul on Tuesday. The Packers were just 3-8 and don't have a lot of offense. So if the Cardinals could get out to a fast start, they could fly away with their 6th of the year. They get the start they want. Tandon Bush lights the lamp with a wrist shot from the point less than 2 minutes into the game, and the Cardinals never look back. Tyler Barsness had a monster game against the Packers. He walks to the top of the slot here and rifles it top shelf. Cards up 2 less than 5 minutes in. Packers got one back, but the Cardinals answer late in the first. Ben Kish with the 2-on-1, trying to get it to Bowden, but can't, so he chips it past the keeper himself. He also had a huge night at Woog Arena. Cards up 3-1 after 1. Onslaught continues in the second. Pressure deep leaves the slot wide open for Barsness. Nice feed and a quick finish. His second of the game makes it a 3-goal lead. Cardinals power play still early in the second. Barsness a wrist shot from the point. Kish with the tip out front. His second of the game. Kish also had 3 assists for a 5-point night. End of a power play midway through the second. Barsness with speed right to the slot. He completes his hat trick. He had 3 goals and 3 assists. Cardinals up 6-2 at that point. Packers got back within 2 in the third period. The Cardinals get 1 more to finish it off. Barsness with a great pass to Eli Bowden for a one-timer. His 5th goal of the year helps the Cards seal a 7-4 victory.
Well, the Cardinals closed out the week with back-to-back home games, but facing much stronger competition. Champlin Park came to the Crick on Thursday. The Rebels were just 5-6-1, but that included a win over number 9 Centennial and an overtime loss to top-ranked Andover. They would be a handful, to say the least. Cardinals on the strike first on the power play. Tyler Barsness with a great feed to Eli Bowden at the back door. He hammers it home. Cardinals have a 1-goal lead late in the first period. They almost made it 2 on the 2-1. The defender blocks the pass. Kamani points that it's crossed the line, but it's swept out quickly. The whistle blows. The refs discuss and decide no goal. Cards to the locker room up 1-0. Rebels control the puck most of the night, and they finally get on the board. Late in the second, Nolan Peterson's shot goes off the defender in front and into the net to even the score. Champlin Park takes the lead just over a minute later. On the power play, Austin Durkop makes the initial save, and on the rebound, Rebels go behind the net, feed Drew Bellison for the one-timer to finish 2-1 Champlin Park going into the third. Rebels add some insurance in the final frame. Drew Bellison crashing the post and scoring his 2nd of the game to make it 3-1 early in the third. They add 1 more late. Cardinals too aggressive on the breakout turnover at the blue line. Jordan Ron drops to his skates, back to his stick. To the back of the net, Rebels cruise to a 4-1 win.
Yeah, and it was, I was really hoping they could maybe get past Champlin. Champlin a little down this year, Cardinals a little up. But Champlin has a pretty good hockey team. They kept the Cardinals on their heels all game, forced them to defend most of the night, outshot them 48-12 in that game. So the Cardinals kept it close. They did have some decent chances, but unfortunately it came up empty. And then on Saturday, the Cardinals taking on Centennial. Centennial ranked, I think, 9 in the state right now. They lost 10-2 with the goals from Nathan Clark and Ben Kish. Austin Durkott made 28 saves in the loss. The Cardinals also actually played earlier this afternoon against the Tino Grace and lost to the Eagles 5-0.
Yep.
I believe Will Wagner back in net for that one. The Cardinals are at Anoka on Thursday, and they will host Elk River Zimmerman on Saturday. But still, even with those couple losses to finish the week, still a lot of excitement around the club right now.
Yeah, and you touched on it, the youth on this program, and Barsness. Tyler Barsness really is having a nice season. You saw on the highlights there. I mean, he's so dominant. He's got such great speed, and it's fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, the girls hockey team had just one game this past week, traveling to take on Armstrong Cooper on Tuesday. The Wings were just below 500, but were winless in the conference. This was a great chance for the Bluebirds to extend their winning streak before taking a perfectly timed week of rest. CPCR controlling the game from the opening puck drop midway through the first. Emma Strauss jumps on a loose puck, puts it to the back of the net, her 5th of the year. Got the Bluebirds on the board. Bluebirds continue to pressure late in the first. Brianna Qualley's first shot doesn't get through. Second is stopped. She takes it behind the net, sets up Abby Ness for a quick one-timer. CPCR up 2 after 1. Wings come flying back in the second. Lydia College behind the defense. Emma Olsen able to track her down and knock her off the puck. It's ruled not only a penalty, but a penalty shot. College comes in slow and shoots. Madeline Wasford gets a piece of it with a glove, but it gets in, and the game is tied at 2. But then the Bluebirds get serious. Molly Terabeza smooth moves to the slot. Her shot is stopped, but Ness puts the rebound into a wide-open net. Ness had 2 goals, 2 assists. That one gave the CPR the lead back. And they blow up from there. They score 4 goals in just over 4 minutes. Kylie Ketting with a redirect out front right there. Bluebirds back on top 6-2 by the end of the second period. They don't really let up in the third. On the power play, Kylie Scott with a wrist shot from the point, through traffic and past the keeper. That made it 8-2, sent it into running time, but there was time enough for one more. Molly Terabeza with a steal, a shot, and she follows it up for the score. Her team leading 11th of the year caps the scoring in a 9-2 blowout.
Yeah, a nice win for the Bluebirds, obviously, against a team that they should have beaten, and the fact that they scored 9 goals was impressive. Their offense was going, and I know earlier in the season that was something that they were working on, not getting enough, getting plenty of shots on goal, but they weren't finding the back of the net.
Well, and that's something we talk about a lot too, is the games that you have to win, the games you're supposed to win. Those games where you're supposed to be dominant, you really have to be dominant, and they were just that against the Wings. They've got a busy week this week. They host White Bear Lake on Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday, a home-and-home series with Anoka out at the Anoka rink on Friday night, and then they will be at the Coon Rapids Ice Center hosting the Tornadoes on Saturday.
Should be a lot of fun
to get that home-and-home college-style series back for both hockey teams. Wrestling team took on the Anoka Tornadoes on Friday. The Anoka Tornadoes are pretty good. They are ranked 5th in the state, and they put up a nearly perfect 78-0 score against Cardinals. Cardinals down a couple of guys, had to forfeit a couple of spots. And then on Saturday, they went to a quad in Champlin Park. They had 4 spots, so out of 14 weight classes, they automatically gave up 24 points for those 4 spots that they had to forfeit. They lost to St. Francis handily, a closer one against White Bear Lake, but they bounced back by beating Rush City 42-39 and also beating the host Rebels 46-30. Good day for Carter Skradsky, went 3-1 with a couple of pins. Hunter Allen was 3-0 at 170 pounds with a pin in a major decision. Tyler Herr was also perfect on the day at 2-0 with a pin. They are in Woodbury for a quadrangular on Thursday, and then will be at the Eastview Invitational on Saturday. Gymnastics team on Saturday in Osseo for the Superhero Invitational, and they had a pretty solid finish, finishing 3rd place. Ada Drummy led the team in all events. She took 1st place in the vault with an 8.55. Lana Vang was 10th place on the bars and 6th place on the floor. Savannah Lusk was 6th place on the beam. Drummy was 4th place overall with a 31.3. They will be at the Breck Mustangs Invitational on Saturday, and then at Elk River for a dual meet against the Elks on Monday, January the 31st.
I know they're trying to get their points up, but it was nice to see that third place finish.
Well,
for
and
them.
they put up a 113,
yeah.
which means the numbers are going in the right direction.
Right, exactly.
They've set their goals a little bit lower. Because they are so young and a lot of new girls. So they're hoping to get to 120. 130 is kind of the benchmark we had talked about a few years back when they had a little more experienced lineup. But if they can get to 120, it's big because they have a lot of young girls and a lot of middle schoolers. And what's crazy is I believe it was a 6-team, it was 5 or 6 teams. They finished in 3rd. The JV, I believe, finished 1st.
Nice.
With a score of like 96, somewhere in the mid-90s. So, and Coach Habel did mention how close the JV and varsity scores are. It means they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of girls right around that same area. And if some of these girls new to the sport really take off and improve their skills, that's the hope for the program moving forward. Swimming and diving team taking on Park Center on Thursday, and they blew past the Pirates 96-67. Nate Larson was 1st place in the 200 freestyle. Mitch Tronson in the 200 IM. Tyler Schultz in the 50 free. Zach Carter was 1st on the board. Well, let's face it, they were 1st in almost every event. Schultz was 2nd place in the 100 butterfly. Lings 1st place in the 500 freestyle, with Buelltel in 2nd place in that event. Then on Saturday, they went to True Team and finished in 6th place. 900 points is one of the best finishes since the arrival of Coach Doug Donaldson's. According to his email, based on points available to the team, they did as well as any team he has ever coached. Tyler Schultz, 1st place in the 100 breaststroke, 2nd place in the 100 butterfly. Tronson was 2nd in the 500 free and 3rd in the 200 free. Nate Larson was 3rd place in the 200 IM and the 100 backstroke. Denton was in 8th place in the 100 breaststroke. Up next, they are at Andover on Thursday, and that'll be a good test. Another team in the middle of the pack, one that they feel pretty confidently about, but they'll need the depth pieces to come through to secure the win. And then next week, they're at Maple Grove, and Maple Grove always has a very quality club.
I mean, you could tell in reading this email, Coach Donaldson, the excitement that he has for this squad, and he talked about losing Schultz next year, but the fact that he's got some younger swimmers that are gaining valuable time and decreasing their times in the pool each and every week, that bodes well for the program.
Moving right along, the ski team had almost perfect conditions for their sprint race, the first sprint race of the season for Northwest Suburban teams. This is something new they're doing because they now have sprint and relays that will compete at section and state. So 3 guys, they finished 1st and tied for 2nd to advance to the semifinals. Unfortunately, Aaron Casey had to back out, so that allowed Ludwig his spot in the semifinals. Both Thoen and Pauli made it all the way to the championship, where Josh Thoen got the 1st place win in 2 minutes 54 seconds. On the girls' side, Lila Gilliard in 1st place in the prelims and the semifinals, and then 2nd place in the finals. She advanced all the way to the final race, and it was interesting. The girl that won, and I want to say she was from Armstrong, but I'm not sure that's correct. But she was just a couple seconds behind Lila in both of the first 2 races. Dropped something like 12 or 14 seconds off her best time in the championship. And then on Saturday, the Cardinals went to the ABC Relays in Mora. The Cardinals boys A team finished in 4th place, the B team in 18th. Pauli, Martinek, Casey, and Thoen were the skiers on the A team. On the girls' side, 10th place and 15th place. Lila Gilliard, 1st place in the Classic at that event. And Cardinals, we talked about it last week, did some relays on the girls' side. They didn't have anyone to fill the freestyle spots. Obviously, they were able to fill them this time around, and a great finish for Lila Gilliard. As we get closer and closer to that section time, she has been a big part of that girls team for a long time.
Really
and
has.
now as a senior, really putting up some fantastic times, and she has
see.
a very good opportunity to not only go, but make some noise at state.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for her because, yeah, she's earned that opportunity, but being so involved in this program.
Well, the schedule has them for 5K skate races with conference opponents both this Thursday and next Thursday, but I wouldn't be surprised if one gets turned into a sprint, as that will be a focus down the stretch for a lot of teams. Alpine ski team had just one race last week, and the boys finished in 12th place. Had 4 guys at least finish both of their runs. Van Norman, their top finisher, in 73rd. Oldsby, their bottom finisher, in 89th. Girls team, right in the middle of the pack, a tie for 8th place. Emily Verbeek was 41st, with Carly Hafferman right behind in 42nd place. Less than, a little more than a half a second separating their times. The other Verbeek finished in 52nd place, with Sides in 64th, Staley in 66th, and Mary Olson in 68th place. They are actually on the slopes tonight at Trollhagen for race 4. Race 5 is at Wild Mountain on Friday.
Wish them luck, and hopefully tonight things are going well.
Well, and we talked about it at the top of the show. The other team that's doing some tremendous things early in the year is the boys basketball team. So much fun to see them kind of knock off some teams that they haven't seen in a long time. And also, it's just a fun team to watch.
They really are. I mean, they play so well on both ends of the court. They're a lot of fun, and as you'll see in the highlights, their front end as the season continues should be a good one for them. Well, this was an historic week for the boys basketball team with a couple of monumental wins against conference rivals. The Spring Lake Park Panthers came to the Fieldhouse on Tuesday. They had lost 3 of their previous 4, but they had not lost to Coon Rapids since joining the conference in 2014. That was about to change. Student section fired up for the visit from Spring Lake Park, and the Cardinals gave them a great show. Defense turning to offense early. Elijah Smith tips it away. Kai John Cummings-Coleman takes it on the run and scores in close. Coon Rapids break opens a close game with a 19-2 run in the middle of first. C-squared rips away this rebound and fires it up court for Matthew Ellingson. He goes for the two-handed jam. Ellingson had a dozen against the Panthers. CC coming up big again, jumps the pass, takes it to the rim, gets the bucket and the foul. Cardinals led by as much as 14 in the first half. But they're never able to really put it away. MJ Galamo with a steal early in the second. He goes in alone, throws down a monster jam. A very questionable technical call for hanging on the rim, but no question, MJ was hot with 17 points. Panthers keep it interesting at the end. They had 2 guys over 20 points. You saw there Peyton Thompson hitting the three-pointer. Spring Lake Park briefly led 52-50. Then Elijah Smith takes over. Smith with a steal, a breakaway, and a dunk to put the Cardinals back in front. 12 of his team-high 18 points came in the final push. Hits a couple of three-pointers late in the contest to help the Cards secure a 76-67 victory.
It was fun to be there for that win. They had never beaten Armstrong or Spring Lake Park since they joined the Northwest Suburban. So to see that finally happened was fun, but so close on the heels of that Maple Grove game that they twice looked like they had that one all sewed up, and they let it get away from them. We saw the same thing in that first half. They built a big lead, but the Panthers trimmed it back, and kept it close. So good to see them be able to finish it off at the end.
Well, the difference between those 2 games is they hit their free throws in the game against the Panthers.
And not nearly the same number of foul trouble.
No,
exactly. Was a big problem against Maple Grove. But again, you look at them, 3 points away from taking 2 out of the loss column and putting them in the win column. On Thursday, the Cardinals took on Champlain Park, February 2012. Last time they had beaten the Rebels, but a little less than 10 years later, Cardinals hand them an 83-74 loss. Elijah Smith, another monster game with 28 points. MJ had 17. Cummings Coleman had 15, as did McKeith Deng. And then the scoring kind of falls off after that. Matthew Ellington had 4 points, but grabbed 8 boards. So at 8-3 now could easily be 10-1. But I'm going to try not to harp on that. I think I'm going to try being done with harping on that.
Let's do that. I agree.
But wow, what they've done is fantastic. And even at 8-3, they're sitting in a great spot.
I mean, I look at their defense. I mean, I was going through the stats the other day, and you and I texted back and forth about this. But MJ and C squared. C squared has 50 steals. MJ has 47 in 11 games. That's great defense.
Yeah, when you got two guys that are averaging better than 4 steals a game, that's always a nice thing. They host Anoka on Tuesday. They're at Blaine on Saturday. Girls basketball team played 3 solid games last week, but unfortunately, Cardinals still searching for their first victory. On Tuesday, they traveled to Spring Lake Park. The Panthers were coming off a loss, but they were sitting at 6-3 and solidly in the middle of the conference standings. Jenny Tomboy doing her best to carry this team despite being the focus of the other team's defense. Strong drive right side. Just the start of a big night for her. Cardinals keeping pace with the Panthers early on. Alex Schmidt with a great pass to get Camille Washburn in for the layup. Coon Rapids leads 8-6 early on. Tomboy still just warming up, and the Panthers couldn't stop her. She runs the right side again, easy up and in. Cardinals continue in front, but Spring Lake Park has the answer at the other end. Strong shooting for a number of players helped them take the lead back. That three-pointer from Avery Dunbar put them up 26-15. Cardinals able to respond with a run of their own late in the half. Casey Beck with a three-pointer from the left wing, part of an 8-point effort for her. Tomboy again, this time working in the high post. She had a season-high 27 points, but the Cardinals trail by 9 at the break. Rest of the roster severely limited. Alex Schmidt scores on the inbound, her only points of the ball game. Because of that, the Cardinals never really threaten the lead, but they do keep the Panthers from really running away with it. Casey Beck, another pull-up three-pointer, but a double-digit deficit still at that point. The Panthers keep pushing it. Cameron Smith hits a three-pointer from the top of the key. Spring Lake Park wins comfortably, 62-43, the final in that one.
Obviously, it's been a tough season for the girls basketball team, but you can't say enough about Jenny Tomboy. She's had such an amazing season, and I mean, you look at it night in and night out, she's dominating, obviously, on that team and scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, and every other team they play knows that she is going to be the bulk of their offense, and they still can't stop her. She had 70 points in the 3 games this week. On Thursday, Cardinals hosting Champlin Park, and they gave them a good run, but come up just short, losing to the Rebels 57-51. 23 points from Tomboy. Casey Beck added 13. Camille Washburn had 6, and Schmidt had 4. On Saturday, they went up to Duluth, took on the Greyhounds. They come up short 65-53, another 20-point effort for Tomboy. Delana Washburn and Casey Beck each had 8, Schmidt with 5, and Chloe Christie had 4. They are now 0-12. They are at Anoka on Tuesday, host Blaine on Friday, and Howie.
We'll be there. We'll also be at the boys' game tomorrow.
We will.
Home game against Anoka as well. So we got
boys basketball Tuesday night, girls basketball on Friday night, girls hockey against the Anoka Tornadoes on Saturday. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including the impressive Paris behind the lens and Howie Shapiro to my right, I'm Joe Young saying good night.